Now, I've read this story before, but tonight's bedtime story is a special one, called Mr. Men, The Great British Tour, read by the same artists. Miss Sunshine loves going on holiday. She likes nothing more than visiting new places with her friends. So she bought a double-decker bus to do her very own guided tour of Great Britain. Sunshine Tours. Miss Sunshine had bought everyone an umbrella for the trip. It often rains in Great Britain, she laughed. Mr. Worry looked up at Miss Sunshine's bus. But your bus doesn't have a roof, he cried. I know, smiled Miss Sunshine. All aboard. The Great British Tour was from Land's End in the most western corner of England to John O'Groats at the very top of Scotland. The first stop on the tour was the Eden Project in Cornwall. In a huge dome they trekked around a streamy rainforest, and discovered how the plants help us keep all alive. Mr. Greedy discovered how many cream teas he could eat. Then they got back onto the bus to travel to Wiltshire, where Miss Sunshine showed them the Stonehenge, one of the wonders of the world and the most famous prehistoric monument in the whole of Britain. Mr. Worry stayed on the bus just in case it rained. Nobody knows how Neolithic man moved these enormous stones to build the circle, said Miss Sunshine. Hee, I think Mr. Strong may have an idea. Hee, giggled Miss Giggles. The next day, Miss Sunshine's tour took them across the south of England to Dover. Mr. Worry was very concerned when he saw the hot air balloons which were going to take them over the white cliffs. It's amazing we're flying like a bird, cried Miss Giggles. I can even see France from up here. Luckily for Mr. Worry, he was on Mr. Greedy's balloon, which couldn't get off the ground. Too many cream teas. Oh, yes. There was more tea at their next stop. Mr. Uppity organised tea with the Queen of Windsor Castle. Miss Splendid was very jealous when the Queen greeted Miss Princess like an old friend. And Mr. Worry was very scared of the corgis, but things only went from bad to worse. Miss Stubborn refused to curtsy in front of the Queen. Mr. Clumsy spilt his tea on the rug, and of course Mr. Greedy ate all the biscuits. Mr. Uppity was very embarrassed. He wanted to be invited back. After a stressful day at the castle, they decided to take things a bit slower and swap the bus for a barge along the Birmingham canals. Did you know that Birmingham has more canals than Venice? Asked Miss Sunshine. Hop aboard, everyone. Mr. Worry decided to stay on the bus again. He was worried he might fall off the barge. And of course Mr. Bump did fall in the canal. And Mr. Clumsy and Miss Whoops. Splash. Oh, 1 minute. Once they all had dried off, they climbed on board Miss Sunshine's tour bus. Next stop, Wales, cried Miss Sunshine. Did someone say whales? Asked Mr. Worry, nervously, looking over his shoulder. But Mr. Worry no need to be warned, as they travelled out to England to Carnarvon Castle in Wales, where they watched an entertaining jousting competition. Mr. Topsy-Turvy was not going to win any prizes. It was a flying visit to Wales, as that night they camped in Sherwood Forest under the stars. It was Mr. Strong's idea that they dressed up as Robin Hood and his merry band of outlaws. Mr. Mean made a very good Sheriff of Nottingham, and Miss Somersault was on an excellent shot with a bow and arrow. Mr. Dizzy was not so good. Not so much a bow and arrow as an arrow and bow. The next stop in Miss Sunshine's tour was Northern Ireland. They were up bright and early to board a ferry and sail across the Irish Sea. Mr. Tall wanted to see the Giant's Causeway. Legend has it that long ago 2 giants loathed each other. Fionn, a Irish giant, built a path over the sea to reach the Scottish giant, Benandonna. Then he ripped it up in a rage, and the Giant's Causeway was made. However, explained the Sunshine, the causeway was really created by a volcano 60 million years ago. Mr. Worry was not sure which version worried him more, 2 giants or a volcano. The following morning they were back on the ferry to England for a relaxing day on Blackpool Beach with fish and chips for lunch. Mr. Busy was too busy to stop for lunch. He was too busy making a sand castle. It was nearly as tall as Blackpool Tower, which everyone climbed after lunch. Well, not everyone. One person stayed on the ground, and I'm sure you know who that was. Mr. Worry. Whales, giants, volcanoes, heights. What next? Wondered Mr. Worry. Well, next was sailing on Coniston Water in the Lake District. They had hired a boat, but there was no wind. Mr. Worry's relief was short-lived, as Mr. Strong had a lot of puff. He took a very deep breath, and he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed all the way round the lake. Mr. Worry kept a close eye out of whales. Miss Sunshine's tour was now nearing its end, but not before they travelled even further north through England up to Scotland. On their way they passed the Angel of the North, which was 4 times taller than a double-decker bus. Just before they reached Scotland, they came to Hadrian's Wall, which was built by the Romans 2,000 years ago. They decided to go for a walk, but Mr. Forgetful forgot to shut one of the gates. Poor Mr. Worry, he was even afraid of sheep. Bah, bah. In Scotland, they had decided whether they should take the high road or the low road. They decided on the high road, all the way up to Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the British Isles. Mr. Worry wished she had not stayed on the bus this time. After exploring Scotland, they finally reached John O'Groats. They all agreed it had been a wonderful tour. And we didn't even need the umbrellas, laughed Miss Sunshine happily. It's not called Sunshine Tours for nothing. Cautiously, Mr. Worry stepped down from the bus. Plop. Was that a raindrop? Worried Mr. Worry. No. It was a seagull, giggled Miss Giggles. That was a good story. See you soon. Bye.